Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with my top 5 picks for the best actors in a lead role for 2022. This is my 5th of 6 videos covering my favorite movies of the year. So, since I'm just that close to getting it done, let's get through this fucker. First off, my number 5 is a bit of a cheat. I'm going with Nicolas Cage for the unbearable weight of massive talent. Nicolas Cage plays a fictional version of himself in this movie, where he is hard up on work, thinking about retiring, and disappointed in himself and his state in his career. He also never goes by Nicolas Cage in this movie. He's always just Nick Cage. He is invited to a infamous gangster's birthday party where the CIA want him to go and want him to be basically a spy for them. The movie's hysterical and genuine and heartfelt, and compared to a film like The Interview from just a few years ago, which plot-wise was very, very similar, this movie is so much more ambitious because it's not weighed down by trying to be political and trying to be shocking and controversial. It just focuses on its characters, its storyline, and more importantly, its star. This movie is a love letter to the legacy of Nicolas Cage, not just the work he's done, but the impact he has left on audiences and how he's perceived and how he's always been cool with criticism. It's a great work from Nicolas Cage, man. And then you gotta throw in his fantasy, more or less, imaginary friend version of his younger self. You know, his vampire's kiss, Peggy Sue Got Married era of himself. And yeah, sure, it's done through through de-aging and motion capture, but wow, man, Nick's great in this. He's really, really terrific in this. Number 4, Ralph Fiennes in The Menu. And just a quick toast to the great Ralph Fiennes here. One of the best. In The Menu, a horror movie, horror comedy, where he plays a legendary, world-famous chef with the most unique and elaborate menus at with the most exclusive dining. Basically, he's sick of people criticizing him and pretty much ruining his art. So him and his staff, who are basically his cult followers at this point, invite all the people who've made his life a living hell into one spot so they can pretty much humiliate, torture, and ultimately murder them throughout the course of the evening. One thing that did put me off about this performance in this movie was the character, both in his mannerisms, his looks, and the way he's spoken about is clearly inspired by Gordon Ramsay. Adding that on top of the fact that they cast Ralph Fiennes, it's almost perplexing why they made the character American, frankly, until the film's final moments, and kind of makes sense why they made that decision, why it works for his character, why his character more or less needs to be an American, without giving away spoilers. But another great performance from a great actor who just elevates and makes any film he's in, no matter if it's a starring role like The Grand Budapest Hotel or a small scene stealer like Hail Caesar, everything he's in is worth seeing because he's in it, in my opinion. He's a great actor. Number 3, I'll say Alexander Skarsgård for The Northman. Now, Skarsgård is an interesting actor. I mean, you figure with a guy with his size, his presence, his experience as a stage actor, his experience as a child actor, his legacy as in him being of an acting family, and you put on the fact that he's just tall, muscular, handsome, blonde hair, blue-eyed guy. Like, how has he not become more of a breakout star? He was on True Blood, which was basically the HBO R-rated version of Twilight, which I have never been in danger of seeing. But then he got cast as Tarzan, which he was perfect as Tarzan, but the movie sucked. He got cast as Randall Flagg, and he was perfect for Randall Flagg, but nobody watched the fucking show. And then he gets cast in this role. a Viking savage, a man who, when we first meet him as an adult, as him playing the role, he is truly just an animal. It's not until he's shown his vision, his prophecy from the witch, where humanity starts to come out of him more and more. And as he's told in the prophecy, he will eventually have to choose between his vengeance and his family. And him growing from this man who's literally walking through a village and ripping out people's hearts to eat, to intimidate their children. Growing from that to someone who has to make a truly selfless, self-sacrificial decision was compelling reversal of where you usually see your main character in action movies, where you see them rot and fall apart and lose more and more. On the opposite, you see this a man who has nothing, who slowly, more and more, strangely through a path of vengeance, finds something to live for and something to defend. It's terrific. Number 2, Colin Farrell and the Banshees of Inisherin. Whole article I read recently that was saying nobody had a better year than Colin Farrell, and that's the fucking truth. Colin Farrell was great this year, both in Batman and in this. And I can't even. I've been quoting the stupidest goddamn lines throughout this movie. I'm not going to put my donkey outside when I'm feeling sad. Guy says, I've listened to you 2 hours the other day. Talk about shit that you found in your about what you found in your donkey shit. Oh, it wasn't my donkey, it was my pony, so it shows how much you were listening. It's all throughout this movie, he is just one brilliant comic delivery after the other. And where Colin Farrell's a terrific actor, as he showed, he can be this mysterious, sinister, dangerous type character in Minority Report. He can be a layered, distraught, just misery-riddled man. And Dead Man Down, but when he works with this guy, this director, Martin McDonagh, shows him he's this generation's Cary Grant. He is a brilliant comedian and a romantic leading man at the same time. He can do these things. This director brings the best out of Colin Farrell, and this is just. It's not that his character is a bit of a drunk, but he's also a fool, and he's this lonely person. The fact that he's not a real man, he's not a psychopath, and there's not like this hook that makes him this Oscar favorite. You know what I mean? It's just a very good fucking performance in a very good fucking movie from a very, very good fucking actor, and damn right he's number 2. And my number 1 pick for the best actor of the year, of course, is Robert Pattinson for the Batman. First off, I want to point out something. This is the first time anybody's played Batman without a fucking voice modulator since George Clooney in 1997. Just raw, straightforward performance. And, I mean, exactly what... Okay. Talk about all the little elements. About how when he's Batman, instead of all this mouth breathing and roaring like kind of nonsense that Bale did, you know. And look, I don't want to shit on Christian Bale. I ultimately enjoy his work as the Batman, even though I think he got complacent and kind of lazy in the sequels. His performances in the sequels are not on par with his performance in the first film. But then again, to be fair, neither is the writing of Bruce. Affleck was phenomenal as Batman, even though you can tell well, let's just discard Justice League. But in Dawn of Justice, a phenomenal performance, maybe the single best performance as Batman an actor's ever given. But Pattinson did something completely different with the role, and how just a slight adjustments, and just little wavering of his eye or a flinch of his lip could show how something would really bother him or strike an interest. just the little things, like the way he reacts when Gordon tells him that the mayor's son found the body. That one line, he looks at the kid, and it's not like this big nod or anything like this, but just with this look. He's promising the boy, I'm gonna get him. And that kind of shit just was so profound to me. And also there was this genuine sense of him trying to figure out, Batman doesn't know everything, it's not the because I'm Batman meme that, you know, it's become a deal with, like, you know, how it should have ended and shit like that. It was, Batman had to figure it out. When he runs up to the top of the police headquarters and jumps off this roof, there's a moment of, what the fuck am I doing? Before he jumps off. It's great. And then there's, you know, what they did with Bruce, you know. In the original Burton films, Burton and Schumacher films, they kind of made a serious approach to Bruce, Adam West's version of Bruce Wayne. He's a philanthropist. He's a public figure and uses money and his influence and his fame to help where he can, how he can, and who he can. With the Nolan movies, went to the old school approach to Batman, which was basically even more of a ripoff of Zorro, straight up Don Diego de la Vega, which is this, when his public persona of himself is this self-involved, foppish, drunk, spoiled rich guy. Only cares about himself and his next big moment. So, yeah. It's Pattinson. I thought he did a great job. I thought his monologue work was... And by the way, what the fuck took so long to get to Batman monologues? Wonderful script for Batman. Oh, like I was saying, my point is that I did not mind the changing and doing their own thing with Bruce Wayne. I kind of even like the idea of playing him as this almost Howard Hughes figure, this mysterious rich man who lives on a hill, but everybody in town knows who he is. And when they even break down the 20th year anniversary of the murder of the Wayne family, just kind of get this mind off of my mind. You know, every cop, every adult, the mayor, not only do these people know exactly what happened to Bruce Wayne, they remember where they were when they heard the story. This was a citywide tragedy that touched everyone who was there when it happened, and it's played properly like this. I can't praise it. I can't praise their approach to Bruce, the performance of Bruce. My only genuine, real complaint is some of the cosmetics of it. A little bit of changes to the bat suit I wouldn't have minded. Definitely different haircut for Bruce Wayne. I would not have minded. Hold on, I gotta trap my dog. And some honorable mentions here real quick. First off, I'm going to say Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick. I really thought down to, when I sat down to shoot the video, thought I was going to nominate Tom Cruise. But the truth is, the reason I did not nominate Tom is because his nomination has nothing to do with his performance or the quality of the writing, the character, or the film. I did not like that movie. I did not care about the character of Maverick. It's just the fact that I'm proud of Tom Cruise at this stage of his career, after so many movies, so many decades on top, after surviving the crippling controversy and backlash he went through in the mid-2000s. Him sitting here now, in his early 60s, has never been more relevant, has never been more bankable, has never been more likable. He has never been a bigger fucking star. God bless you. Just damn, man. I'm just happy for the son of a bitch. Other than that, we got, a pair of returning sleuths. Rian Johnson's Glass Onion was one of my favorite movies of the year, and it really came in, especially favorite non-horror movies of the year. And the fact that it was able to come in at the last minute was a treat. I've come across some bad reviews of the movie, and I agree with a lot of points. However, it does not change the fact that it's just a really fun movie. It's an entertaining movie, and isn't it just entertainment? You know, it's supposed to be first and foremost. If you had a good time, does anything else really matter? And also Kenneth Branagh returning both as director and star in Death on the Nile as what the hell is her name? Death on the Nile. Is it? Oh, Jane Austen? It wasn't Jane Austen. Man, I mentioned her in a video. Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile. Her detective Hercule Poirot. Branagh's terrific in it, and he's the reason to watch both movies. Both his work as director and specialist performance. David Harbour in Violent Night as Santa Claus. Man, this was a movie that I went in feeling it had no right to be good. Damser was there, so I wasn't expecting to like it. It had no right to even exist, much less be good, is what I should say. So I was shocked that it ended up walking out of the movie with a brand new Christmas favorite. I love the decisions he made as really thinking of, okay, how would Santa Claus react to suddenly being in an action movie situation? And it provided some genuinely goddamn knee-slapping humor in this movie. I had such a good time watching Violent Night. It's a fucking hoot. Channing Tatum did a very good performance as both the director and the star in the film Dog, as where he plays basically forced retired veteran after a post-traumatic stress disorder who's given a shit detail to take a service animal to the funeral of his master, or having the creature put down. He does a really good job in this, all around, balancing the story, the humor, the character, the heart of it, and it's never easy for an actor to basically act against an animal or even a child. You know, they talk about that a lot. You know, it's a curse, especially if you don't have experience doing these kind of things. Adrian Brody had an interesting performance in a very unappreciated and overlooked movie called Clean, where he plays a former assassin and recovered drug addict who is now kind of this more or less vagrant in the city, who's a volunteer who just runs around being the city's trash man, when of course he has to make a stand to get violent again in his life to protect some kids in the neighborhood. Uh-oh. The baby's taking a nap or sleeping behind me, not taking a nap. You don't take a nap at 4:11. 11:47. I think I'm going dyslexic in my old age. Is it possible to go dyslexic? I don't know. Sharlto Copley had a terrific performance as the Unabomber in Ted K. A very isolated, very claustrophobic performance. Enjoyed him very much. Christian Bale gave a textbook Christian Bale performance in Amsterdam. He's not subtle. He's very mechanical. And he's uber gimmicky, but he's fun to watch. Another guy who really shines, in my opinion, when he does comedy, Jon Hamm in Confess Fletch, really strived to make the role his own and achieved it. That Daniel Kaluuya did a great job playing the quiet man, the hero of few words, a strong, quiet, silent type in Jordan Peele's sci-fi, western, Spielbergian horror movie, Nope. And finally, Jake Gyllenhaal in Ambulance, a movie I did not enjoy at all. I do appreciate that Michael Bay is trying to do something a little bit more human and adult and serious like he did with Pain and Gain. But, unfortunately, he still is Michael Bay. Gyllenhaal's terrific in this, either way. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Only got one more of these to go, and like I said, it's the Big Dog. It's Best Picture of the Year. What do you think was the best actor of the year? What do you think was the best movie of the year? Ask me if I care. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly. I mean, I do.